Freeze. Hands up. Get him up now. Citizen, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot...
I know what you're thinking. Behind bars, wearing these prison scrubs, you must think I'm a monster. Just another terrible cancer on this peaceful society of ours, locked up tight where I can do no further harm. Well, if you get all your news from your friends on the internet, then your assessment of me would be correct. In fact, that's one way of looking at it. But as the old saying goes, there's more than one side to every story. What I'm about to tell you, you'll never hear on the evening news. My story begins in our pleasant suburban community where the same thing happens every day, just like clockwork. The sound of lawnmowers. And not just on Sundays after church. I mean every day, every hour on the hour throughout the day. People take great pride in their lawns here. That was my first impression of this town when I moved in a little over a year ago. Yep, that would be my house. It wasn't always my house, of course. That wasn't until my great Aunt Jackie shuffled off her mortal coil and left it to me. Probably because I was the only one who never asked for it. See, as far back as I can remember, I lived in apartment buildings, and I was always cool with that. Even after moving out on my own, I lived in one, far away from home. The lawn maintenance was always taken care of by someone else in places like this, so naturally, there was no need to ever learn how to mow. The only time I had even considered being a homeowner was after my Gramps died and my grandma was moving out of her old house, which was home to me, and I actually fought to get it. Unfortunately, I didn't have the funds to secure a proper loan and the bank eventually seized it, and after years of no one showing any interest to buy, it was eventually condemned. But the day I realized I was in over my head was the day I received a letter in the mail detailing the local town ordinance. It even went so far as to address me as citizen, rather than my full name. Gotta admit, I never saw that before. Personally I thought it was a tad excessive, but what are you gonna do? These are the laws of the land, and it was my first exposure to terms like As I read through this little list of exorbitant rules and regulations, one thought popped in my head. When was I going to find time to shave? It also occurred to me that day that even though I live in this house by myself, I was not alone. Now don't get me wrong. While I do believe these particular laws were a tad excessive, I'm totally all for some of the other laws that keep the community safe. For example, if you travel even 2 miles above the speed limit, the cops around here are on you like a magnet. I'll never get over that one, let me tell you. I sleep like a rock at night knowing I was safe from the Leadfoot menace. Funny as it was watching some poor sucker getting pulled over, mowing the lawn for the first time was no laughing matter. I remember digging through the shed only to find this... You know what? At the risk of sounding vulgar and getting slapped with a fine for profanity, Directive 13 of the local ordinance, and yes, that is in fact a thing, I will refer to my inherited antique as a piece of trash. How in God's green earth did Aunt Jackie mow the entire property with this thing? Things only got worse from that point on. I was having a hard time keeping up with the lawn using such outdated and inadequate equipment that I received 2 citations in the space of a few months. 3 strikes and you're out. Not only that, but the local law enforcement decided to switch to undercover cars to better blend into the neighborhood. Do you know what they switched to? Black Ford Stangs. Seriously? Like, they blend in so well we just wouldn't be able to spot them? Well, I was in pure desperation mode and it seemed like I was out for the count. It was the moment I realized I'm screwed. My fate most definitely seemed sealed. But then one man would cross the property line and come to my rescue. Out of nowhere, he mowed my lawn in a matter of minutes. See, for some people, like my neighbor, Citizen Harry, maintaining the lawn is their vocation. Every day, he's out there watering, mulching, weeding, and cutting away at his lawn, which as a result is really quite beautiful. He comes by it quite naturally, you see. I still remember the day that he gave me an old used mower with a crash course. Fill it with gas here, change the oil there, pull the cord, start from this point and work your way around till it's all done, and that's all there was to it. He kept it very simple and straightforward. Now, from that day forward, everything changed. I mean, I was now master and commander of this small piece of land. The lawn was at my mercy, not the other way around, and it felt really darn good. Now, regardless of this newfound euphoric mindset, the truth was I never loved it, but eventually it became a kind of moving meditation for me. The sound of that engine just put my mind at ease. I entered a very zen state of mind. Even so, every once in a while I noticed Citizen Harry watching his young prodigy at work. What a great guy. However, there were times certain outside forces pulled me out of that mindset. Like that great black shark cruising around, for example. I swear, if they gave citations for going too slow, this guy would have been pulled over for sure. I couldn't see the driver, but I could just feel his unfriendly focus my way. But hey, life goes on. It was a beautiful May day. Mother's Day, to be more precise. I decided to get the lawn out of the way before I made the 4-hour trek out to Clearfield County to drop off flowers for my not-so-dearly departed mother. I'm not sure if it's gratitude to be out of her overbearing clutches or just wanted to make sure her dirt nap continues without interruption. But hey, I'm sure you have traditions that don't make a whole lot of sense either.
Freeze! Hands up! Get him up now! Citizen, you are under arrest for direct violation of Special Code 1138. You have also been found in repeated contempt of Directive 21. You are bound by the law. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford...
But it was no dream. If it were a dream, I wouldn't have ended up in here to tell you everything. Turns out another stang at the town limits caught me driving 27 in a 25-mile zone. It was all they needed to obtain an arrest warrant. Trust me, the irony of my third and final strike did not escape me. Karma is indeed a vengeful bitch. I gotta admit, the thought of going to jail on such high moral charges scared the hell out of me. But then I found out I was wrong again. I get my 3 hots in a cot, my favorite time killer is hitting the gym every day, getting my swell on, and that's that.